Well, the Area Truck Series began with 90 laps at Daytona a couple of months ago, and now at race number 9, it's another 90 laps, this time on Michigan Speedway. And while this place isn't considered a super speedway, it might as well be one. It's 2 miles long and full throttle in these Truck Series machines, so fully expect drafting, slinging around partners, and high-octane action here for the 9th round of the Area Truck Series, the Michigan 180. Kyle Heyer joined by Connor Horn tonight for this 9th round. And Connor, after some drama last night in Richmond, we head back up to the Midwest at Michigan Speedway for what I would call a Truck Series classic. This has long been one of everyone's favorite combinations. It's like, watching NASCAR at Talladega. It's been running for a long, long time, and it's super, super fun to watch. But it also, in the past, as we've seen, has been kind of accident prone as well.
I am muted, but either way, I'm hoping that the drama's pretty much gone. It's a pretty big difference in tracks from last night to tonight. 3/4 mile track to a 2 mile track. And like you said, this does tend to be a little bit of a wreck fest for some reason, at least in seasons past. I think 11 cautions last season in a 90-lap race. Ricky Harden took the checkered flag there. He won't be in the running for the checkered flag tonight. As obviously he's not in the series at this point. As we look at the standings coming into tonight, all the winners from Miller Racing, Matheson, Travis Beckner, John Hall taking the checkered flag back last week at Darlington for Throwback Weekend, so they've been pretty dominant up in the points team-wise by a lot. Slaughter there in 4th as well, but Nathan Jump, his win, locked him in if he can get into the top 20, but he's already missed 2 races. I don't see him on the timing sheet right now, so that win pretty much means nothing if he can't make it tonight. That would put Colin Fambro up, but meanwhile, we'll keep Jump there. That cut line, Jacob Bell's looking pretty good right now. Fambro's the one who has to get something going. Then Bourne, JT Poole still 44 below the cut line, and James Skirley is still not even inside the top 20. He has a lot of work to do. He has 3 poles this season, only 1 top 5, only 2 top 10s. It's been rough going for the previous series champ.
Yeah, it has been a troublesome season for him, and there is some time to make up. He's got a few rounds where he can get there, but we're starting to run out of races. We've got Homestead next week, then IRP, then Talladega, then it's over, Connor. That's it. We're out of time to make the playoffs. So as we move closer to that picture, James Skirley's got to get a move on, or he could miss the playoffs after being such a dominant force in previous seasons.
He's had a lot of bad luck this season. He's had run-ins with other drivers. He's had run-ins with really himself. He's had a lot of things go wrong. I think back the first instance of it was really Vegas, where it looked like he might have had at least a top 2. He ends up finishing, I think, outside the top 20 even. So it's just been a bad run of luck for him as of late in this series specifically. He didn't have that great of luck last night as well. So things aren't going the way that it has been. He won 2 or 3 titles last season. He came 1 spot away from sweeping everything. But right now, it's looking like he just needs to get some momentum back. And like you said, 3 races to go. With how big of a points gap it is to that 12th place truck, he might need a win at this point.
We're getting close to that point. Qualifying is already underway. Sometimes up on the board, Colin Fambro, Joey Chapman, and Matthew Rodriguez currently the top 3, but only 8 times on the board so far. We have quite a few people to watch here tonight, including, as always, Michael Curhan. Let's see what message he's got for us tonight. Fill in the blank. Blank's dating life is like the iRacing website, non-existent. Ouch.
You want to fill in the blank?
No, thanks. I am good.
I won't either. But rest in peace to the website.
Yeah.
We can confirm no one registered for this race via the website, because it's impossible now. Tom Bourne just went the 4th, by the way. Just Anna Sogak's quickest.
Ryan Nowicki just out of frame there, but he's working his way through turns 3 and 4 on his one and only qualifying lap. Let's see what he's got for average speed here out of turn 4, that orange Chevrolet Silverado.
Love the background, too. The mirror on his wall looks sick. Let's see where he goes. He goes 13th on the board. Slowest of everyone who's ran, unfortunately, but no one's getting knocked out tonight. Still a big field. 37 trucks signed up. So he'll be starting way at the back, as Anna Sogak's still on the top of the board. He's been on a good run lately just because of how well he ran at Darlington. There's Travis Beckner. He's vibing to the beat. Trying to see the Fambro, Kane, Chapman, Tom Bourne in the top 5.
Not to pour dirty water on the clean dishes tonight, but you guys had a bit of a run-in last night. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see if he gets top 3. Then it'll get interesting. But
yeah, we'll see. He's always fun to watch, and Racing last night got very interesting, and while we ended up under green, it didn't seem like it was going to be like that for a while. Jake Matheson's on track on his qualifying effort. He's been the dominant truck of the season, and we'll see if it will look like that tonight as well. Will he go to the top? 39.956, not quite. It is going to be good enough for about fourth.
A little surprising, but Michigan's a tough track to really qualify at. I mean, it's almost going to be full throttle for all of these trucks in qualifying, and we might even see full throttle for a little while during the race. We're going to see probably 2x2, maybe a little bit of single file, because it's tough to go too wide here as we go on board with Gary Waterworth. It sees maybe cracking the throttle a little bit, but it's really the wheel work is what's going to get you a fast time here. It's just not weaving as much in the middle of the corner is what's going to keep your speed up, just enough to get a fast time down. And he weaved a little bit, but it looked pretty smooth. Turns 3 and 4, slightly different. It's going to go all the way to the bottom. It's a little more flat down there, so I don't know if we'll see many drivers go down there, but he's going to take a very low line out of the exit of 4 just to get to the apron to cut it as close as possible to the bottom. We go 40.133. It's going to put him back, I believe, 14th on the timing sheet.
Yeah, not going to be good enough to get him up in the top 10. JT Poole just took the green flag. Great looking livery on this truck. What is going on? Certainly looks sweet, but is it going to be enough to catapult JT into a championship position here? He's still on the outside looking in.
I saw this revealed in the paints tab. That's what he put next to it. Mardi Gras season equals King Cake season. King Cake season equals I gained 10 pounds. So that's what this truck's talking about here. And he goes quickest by a decent bit. He goes pole. So the King Cake's flying right now.
Yeah, he sure is. I'm trying to figure out what that is a can of on the table back there. Looks like a can of Coke, but it could be something else. Looks kind of festive.
I know, it's like a polar bear on the side.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a Coke can looking like that.
You ever had the cinnamon Coke before?
Yes, we've talked about that in the past. I missed that.
Oh, gosh.
It was so good. And they've never brought it back.
I think they bring it back seasonally, but only in certain places.
I haven't seen it in like 3-4 years, man.
It's been a while. But you could get it at Walmart in canned form for a bit. But one of my favorite flavors of Coca-Cola, and they don't make it.
The Send Away
flavors are the lemon and lime mixed together at one of those Coca-Cola freestyle machines.
Pretty good. Yeah, the freestyle machines, I mean, those technically don't count, but I guess they do.
I think they count.
I guess.
I think some of those flavors
are
your
local Wendy's.
Well, I think, yeah, I guess that's true. Some of those flavors are flavors elsewhere in the world, but they have not been.
Some of them are not.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe all of them are. I don't know. But either way, yeah, I miss cinnamon flavored Coca-Cola. It's Justin Munsell comes across. He goes 6th for the number 6 truck.
And Jacob Bell has noted that Justin Anasogak, his previous 3 races here, qualified first, and now tonight, second.
Pretty impressive. However, no wins. And the fun stat, I at least I'm pretty positive this is correct. The stat I found is Truck Series champions. Not a single Truck Series champion has won here. They've all been won by non-champions. Cameron Hearn, I don't believe he won a Truck Series championship for what I looked at. He won one season. I believe Danny Ware. Hi, Eric Weiland. Danny Ware. Last season, Ricky Harden. And then week 3, season 3, I think it was Cody Catrayer, who's not in this league anymore. So we'll see if we get another different winner. We've had different winners every season, as well as no past champions winning here. So this is kind of a little bit of a wild card at this track sometimes, as the results show.
Bryce Senesac out of turn 4. Let's see what he's got. One of the last 5 qualifiers. Travis Beckner is the other. One of the others. Beckner goes a 40.016. That's only going to put him 12th. Senesac 40.075 goes 20th.
A little further back than both of them were hoping for. Greg Mitchell ended his lap 13th. He just pulled off. And don't know if we'll get anyone else to go with 40 seconds to go. No, we won't.
Brad Slaughter Jr. has lagged out of the server, so they've asked not to skip the warm-up. So give him an opportunity to join back. And all the while, qualifying order is going to be on the left-hand. Well, let's put it center screen now. Might as well. JT Poole on pole for this one, and he could certainly use a win to get in, but that would shift that cut line. You know, we're talking about how things will look. If JT wins, it's going to knock Justin Anasogak out, but Justin Anasogak is going to start, well, it would knock Jacob Bell out, but Justin Anasogak, who is right up there as well, is in second, starting alongside JT. So this is going to get really interesting here once this race kicks off to see how desperate people get as we start closing in on the tail end of the regular season.
And we got to know if Nathan Jump's still not in the session, so he misses one more race, he's done. So that would move, I guess, Fambro in by 3 at that point. And then I think it would be Fambro that would then get forced out if JT's out, if JT gets the win. So a whole sort of things that will obviously be sorted out on our playoff picture sheet next week. But definitely going to see some aggressive driving at a 2-mile track, because some of those drivers like Garrett Grant, like Eric Wineland, and obviously James Scioli, they are going to need something to go their way, and they're going to have to probably get the elbows out to get back up there. Scioli didn't even put a time down, by the way, himself, so he's going to be starting at the back.
Yeah, so, looking forward ahead to the night tonight, Connor, we've got 90 laps of racing. What's the key to Michigan? Because it's going to race a little bit like a restrictor plate track like Daytona or Talladega, but as we saw last season, it can turn messy. So how do you survive a night like this? How do you find your way up front? And is it better to lay back, or better to go out front and try to lead some of this?
I think you want to lead some of this. I think, from my experience, I laid back so much in the series last season, and it just didn't work out a lot. The first super speedway race I tried to run up front at was Atlanta, and I won that. So I just I've changed my opinion on going to the back and just laying back. I just don't think it's better, because I just don't think you can really effectively get through the field in time depending on when you go. So I think leading the race and being up front and battling through the end is the way to go. But you have to be controlled. You have to have a controlled aggression doing it. You got to pick and choose your battles. If someone's trying to really get the spot away from you, just don't fight them for it at that point, especially if it's early on in a race. No point to battle. You don't really need to try to fight hard for that lead until the last 20 laps, and then you can try to get really aggressive and try to get maybe the elbows out a little bit and just keep that track position. I think that's what's important here, because a track like this, you don't have really 3 lanes to work with like you do at Daytona, Talladega. This is almost a groove and a half track at Michigan, so you're really going to have to value track position.
Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru. Or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds left here in warm-up. And big news today in the Area world. Factor Meals will now be sponsoring Area going forward. So that's all very exciting news. Announced that partnership today. And there's a pretty sizable discount. I think it's 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. You can check out the Area iRacing Twitter for more details on how to get that deal, Connor.
Yeah, I haven't eaten today, so I got to be looking into that. Plus a discount, 50%. Cannot beat that, as we'll get 2 minutes to go and warm up. Still not seeing Slaughter. I don't know if this was a normal lag out or maybe everything broke. But either way, by the way, I just got a message from Jeremy Miller. He says the truck starting, he made his pick before us. He said the truck starting 4th is going to win this race. That's Cameron Hearn in the 4 truck. So we'll see if Jeremy can pass you in the rankings with just one race.
Yeah, I suppose so. And also, I mentioned that maybe we should remove those HelloFresh logos until I realized, just now, because Jacob told me that HelloFresh owns Factor. Today I learned. But that means you're going to get that same great quality that you're expecting out of Factor Meals. Again, the Area Twitter is what you want to look up to get that deal on Factor Meals. Sign up today, get 50% off. Minute and 13 seconds left here in the warm-up. As you mentioned, Brad Slaughter not yet quite in here, so that's nerve-wracking for him as we get prepped for our 9th round of the season. AJ Roderick was asking, who's in the Formula car? That's just left over from B-roll, because we used to use this B-roll for, I think, the Indy Elite Series, and I think it was just in the shot and now made it into the B-roll. So
I like to think it's Finian driving it.
Finian is in the racing mood lately, and I think we all go through it, where Finian and I in particular, we spend so much time in the sim and so little time driving it. He's been really big into driving Indy cars again, and has been running with the Velocity Online Racing Series, IndyCar Series, and he's gotten me running the 24 with them this upcoming weekend, just me and him. So he's really in drive mode right now, and I haven't been in drive mode for a long time, but I have this dumb simulator in this room that I should probably use for more than just looking pretty. So I guess he'll have to drag me into it.
Especially if it takes up that much room, you got to use it at some point. It's like half your room. You got half
Yeah.
your room is your broadcasting setup, and then I don't know if you've changed it, but your desk is right there, and then past your desk is your rig, just kind of in the corner. It's hilarious.
We'll see if I
It's a
can.
hilarious setup.
Yeah, so we'll turn the camera around here a little behind the scenes. So there's the rig, which that
So clunky.
Yeah, so here's the rig. So I've just got some stuff that needs to be in the closet. There's my living room. There's the rig, and then the closet has a bunch of sim gear in it. There's I call that the umbilical right there. So that's what runs all the cables back. There's two computers here. You can't see it, but there's one under the desk and then one on top of the desk. That's the one that runs the sim. And then over here, this is Stream Central. There's my cat. There's me, and there's the rest of it all. So there's a little seeing how the sausage is made here at SimTV before we get into the racing tonight. But yeah, it's a room that is single purpose, and that was the whole point of getting this apartment with another bedroom to use all for sim racing purpose, so I can close the door and not have to explain to everyone that comes in the house what I do all the time.
Works out.
It sure does. And Jason Beckner was asking where the cat is, sleeping. I actually worked from home today because it was so cold. Our boss gave us we work in a big warehouse space, and our boss gave us the option to stay home because it gets cold in the office when it's 0 degrees outside. And Apollo played all day with springs and those little plastic cat toy springs. He loves those things, and I had to spend probably half my day digging them out from underneath the couch. So that was what was going on today.
That's when they're in play mode, I mean, you can't waste any time with anything else.
No, certainly not. All right, 90 laps here. If we go green from flag to flag, about 1 hour of racing. We will likely not go green flag to flag, but we'll see how things pan out. 37 trucks are on the starting grid, and with that, let's roll through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. Kicking things off with row 1, it's JT Poole in the number 26. Justin Anisogak has never started off the front row. He will continue that trend today, starting second.
Then another driver in a 39.8 bracket. Colin Farnborough starts third, and Cameron Hearn, Jeremy Miller's pick, he starts fourth in the number 4 truck. He needs something to go his way.
And Mason Kane starts fifth in the number 31. Justin Munsell rolls off sixth in the number 6 truck.
David Weishart in the 7th position in that Toyota TRD Pro Tundra. I hope I said that right. Either way, 8th place, Jake Matheson, who's been dominant this season, 3 wins and 8 starts.
I think it's Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, but either way, Toyota won't come suing you just yet. Danny Ware starts 9th in the 49. Joey Chapman 10th in the number 60.
Sam Fontaine, the last driver in the 39-second bracket, he starts 11th. Good qualifier this season. He starts alongside Travis Beckman.
And 13th place, Greg Mitchell in the number 2 Ford F-150. Tom Bourne in the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro starts 14th in the number 16 truck.
Ford F-150 is much easier. Speaking of that, 15th place, Michael Curhan's in one in that position. Eric Wineland, our usual in-race reporter for Monday nights, he's in his Silverado, starts 16th.
And 17th place, Bronson Stafford in the number 61. Matthew Rodriguez starts 18th in the number 51.
Number 38, Shane Theron, he's had some good runs as of late. He starts 19th in position. Bryce Senesac rounds out the top 20.
21st place is Dylan Lee in the 25. Garrett Grant starts 22nd in the number 5 Toyota.
Xfinity Series driver Kyle Sieg, number 39, the Night Owl, Ford F-150. 23rd position, Jacob Bell starts 24th.
And James Shanewolf, 25th place in the 01. Ryan Swan starts 26th in the number 20.
Bobby Tinch, number 66, starts 27th position. He actually tied on time with Gary Waterworth in 28th.
And 29th place, Joshua Balliet in the 07 Ford. Ben Pierce starts 30th, the number 65.
Jason Dalton, the Powerhouse Racing Silverado, starts 31st alongside Adam Capps in the Elite Entertainment number 05, 32nd.
And 33rd place, Casey Lakatos, and 34th, Ryan Nowicki.
James Scioli, he needs points, maybe a win. He starts all the way back in 35th position. Would have been alongside Brad Slaughter Jr., but he is not back in this session. We'll see if he even gets back in. Then Sean Peachin rounding out this field of 37 or maybe 36 trucks if he can't get back in. As we look at our track temp, it's 95 degrees, but how late in the day it is. Likely to go down. The wind 11 miles an hour to the west. That could definitely play a factor in the handling of these trucks in either corner.
It certainly could, but it's not as hot as it could be here as well, considering we're in Michigan where things can get pretty toasty in the summertime, but thankfully it's not doing what the weather actually is in Brooklyn, Michigan right now, because it would be covered in ice and snow. Connor, pick me a winner from this race.
It's tough to not go with anyone on the front row, but that's exactly what I'll do. I will go Mason Kane. I think he has the aggression that this track needs to win.
I'm going to go with a Kind of a wild pick. Justin Munsell starts 6th. I pick him. I picked him before. It hasn't worked out for me. Let's see how it goes tonight. 90 laps, race 9 of the Area Truck Series is underway here from Michigan. Therian dropped to the tail of the field on the back straightaway, but lap 1 complete. Justin Anisogak is going to be the one that leads us through lap number 1, and we're still double wide behind him pretty much all the way back.
We're going to see this double wide for a while, just because that's kind of how the nature of this racing is that top line got the push out of turn 2, and Cameron Hearn was the one who gave it to Anisogak. So JT Poole, you get stuck on the bottom here, can be a little bit troublesome if you don't have the push. You're just going to get blown by. Munsell is going to go up to 3rd maybe. JT Poole, no help. Everyone else ganging up on him in that top line. Matheson is going to be the next driver in line to try to take a position away, but Munsell up the track a little bit, kind of stunts his progress.
Yeah, Justin Munsell on the move up to the top here. It's got JT to the inside, but JT's also going backwards. There's a good look at Justin, slightly different angle than we've had in the past. You see the focus on his face. It's close quarters and high speed here north of 180, pretty much the entire way around.
Yeah, really fast. We're actually almost hitting leader, even Anisogak, at 189 in the turn number 1. So we're going to be hitting high speeds into a corner for a while, and you have to be on your game. You know, one of those Super Series, we got a car way to the apron. I think that's Dylan Lee, but he saved it, kept it straight. But you got to be on your toes at all times, especially with how close these drivers are going to get. Any mistake is a big one.
Now look at this mess here. Colin Fambro's middle of it, 6th place up top. And a couple trucks scattering here on the front straightaway, just trying to find space. And the best thing that can happen for this race is just to get 10, 15, 20 laps clean and green to separate the field out. But even with that amount of time, you're still going to get mini packs formulating here. Look how tight it's getting in the middle between Kane and Fambro fighting over the same real estate.
Oh, and Munsell loose up ahead of them. Matheson's going to go by him, and then Munsell gets in front of JT Poole, who's dropped all the way back to 5th already from pole position. They didn't even get the lead a lap, but you get 2 trucks side by side. One gets below that bottom seam. They are going to get sideways, and you better give them room to save it, because it won't be pretty if you don't.
Garrett Grant was looking 3 wide on the back straightaway. They sorted out. A little bit of a wiggle there from Bryce Senesac. Tells me that things are a bit slick at the moment up front.
Yeah, really not. And no one really seems stable at all, as Nowicki had a moment off of turn number 4 in the very back of this pack. Is starting to see Jake Matheson come through the field, but everyone like 5th on back is slipping and sliding while they're side by side. And now we almost looked for our first 3 wide action, but Joey Chapman got in front of the 18. Look at all this swerving. And oh yeah, meanwhile James Scaiola, he's up 12, 13 positions already.
He's going to get denied of one if the 07 Valiette can drive back by him, but he can't. There's the 01 of Shane Wolf on the high side here. A little bit of 2 wide. Garrett Grant looks up to the top. Ryan Swan, another driver fighting for a playoff position, and he has not really shown the flashes of greatness that we know that JT Poole is capable of, for example. So Ryan's got to really be on the offensive here, because just running adequately is not going to do it to get you into the playoffs this season, with how much the talent level has risen in the past season here at Area.
You never know. I mean, we saw Tom Bourne almost go to the final without winning, but obviously if you don't win, you're very unlikely to make it to that Final Four when we get to Chicagoland in a month or so time. So Ryan Nowicki, trying to think, Sam Fontaine's kind of in that same boat. Nothing flashy, good qualifying runs, but no flashy finishes, just consistency puts him close to that cut line. But like you said, you need to show something else to get solidly into that top 12 like some others have already, as we're starting to see some little bit of packs form. We're starting to see 3 wide for the lead, as a matter of fact. There goes Hearn to the bottom. Yeah,
look, Matheson stole it in turns 3 and 4, and Anisogak crossed him over, and then Cameron Hearn did the same to both of them.
Oh, we got a spin. 49's around. Danny Ware cautions out. He half spun. No one else was involved, so that was a lot better than what I thought that would be.
Yeah, mid-pack spin here in Michigan. Almost certainly going to land you in trouble. 7 laps complete. And let us see what happened to Danny Ware. Again, it's pretty frantic here, especially in the mid-pack of the Simrat Market replay. It was right on the inside of the 18 of Fambro and the 60 of Chapman. And then Travis Beckner right behind him, and he's already loose.
Yeah.
Already loose. And then Beckner didn't really do anything wrong there, just can't stop mid-corner, and Danny just goes
That was
around.
his fault. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you have someone on your rear bumper, you're going to get sideways. You just have to hope to collect it. You can see the rear end just came out from under him, and at this point, you're just trying to catch it. And there's nothing Travis can do except maybe he can only lift so much, or else you get ran over. So there's not much he could do there. And Danny made a pretty good save, saved his truck for sure. Just a slight loss in track position.
Well, laughing like he did it on purpose. I'm just kidding. But 10th place now. Up 2 spots. And what will we
This
see?
164 wall, I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw that last night because he changed his camera position.
I was thought about doing that, but all my 164s, me being a little kid, I wanted to play with them. I never took them out. I always took them. You take them out of the box.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
Ruined plenty in the past as looks like Anna Sogak's going to pit from the lead.
Yeah,
Kind of surprised by that.
I thought we would see more of one than the other, but we're seeing, I'd say, probably 3/4 of the field stay out and 1/4 of them coming in.
Yeah,
more
fall
towards
off
the
was
tail.
about 0.3 of a second, but who else came in with him? Hearn, David Weishart, Colin Fambro's down there as well. That's everyone in the top 15. Everyone else came in further back. Tom Bourne was in 12th actually, so never mind that. But little shocking, the tire wear wasn't enough to the point where I thought it would be worth getting these tires, because the 88 looked pretty good out front. But we'll see what he can do, if he can make any ground up. Is he'll get out of pit road first.
Scioli, he's going to grab a couple spots here. About 6 cars north of the dividing line. Justin Sogak, as you mentioned, will roll off pit lane first. Matthew Rodriguez in second. Cameron Hearn third. David Weishart back here as well.
About 17 trucks pit.
10% complete already as well. This race could go by pretty quickly. Tim Kane up to third with the shift and shuffle. Joey Chapman is having a pretty decent race in this number 60. He's had some races that just seems like he couldn't get out of the way with everyone running him over. I think, was it Milwaukee? was one of those races.
They had a rough race at Milwaukee.
Yeah, but here he is inside the top 5 after starting in 10th, going the right direction in that Country Boy Brewing vehicle.
One of those tough seasons that seems so many drivers are having in all 3 series. 36th in points, missed 1 race, but not a finish inside, not a finish better than 20th. It actually came last week. He got that at Darlington, but everything else worse than that. Just not been the season he wanted. Really, like you said, a lot of it out of his control from Milwaukee. He had issues at the Roval, and he just had a lot of issues at Charlotte as a whole that whole month. But could right the ship if he could just stay up front here, but a long way to go as we take 1 to green. Jake Matheson in a familiar spot in the lead, as we'll get a quick look at. We saw Dylan Lee all the way down below the apron. We'll see what happened to do that.
Kind of washed up the hill on him here, and then made contact there. Was that Shane Wolf who was outside?
Yes, that was a heck of a job holding on to it.
Yeah, just kind of drifts up here right at the exit, kind of snaps, and then whoop. Oh, that is a terrifying angle.
I don't want to see that inside wall at that angle ever, but he did a good job staying calm and just hooking right and holding on to it.
You either catch that or you don't, and when you don't, it is a big, big deal. Yeah, this is probably, this in Fontana, you can hit that wall so hard, you wouldn't believe how hard you can hit that wall until you do it. But before we get to the restart here, race fans, head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. That's simwrapmarket.com. Jake Matheson and Justin Munsell will restart on the front row for this one. The 6 was my pick to win this race. And off to a good start. See how things pan out here, as we're going to get 80 laps to go on the restart.
Laps to go. Munsell, I was trying to see what in the spot he is for the playoffs. He's part-time in this series, so never mind that. But trying to grab a win. Had a few things not go his way last season, so just trying to race for wins in this series.
Lap number 11, 80 to go here for Michigan. Green flag back in the air for the Area Truck Series. Good restart by that inside line. The outside didn't go. Munsell did not get the best of restarts. JT's in behind him pushing. We're 3 wide with Garrett Grant in the middle, through the middle of 1 and 2.
Almost 4 wide at the very back of the field, still coming out of turn number 2. Matheson gets a bump from Kane, and they almost made that go very badly. They are still 4 wide in the very back. You got tandems on the bottom, on the top. Ben Pierce is trying to find a way to get out of it, I would think. They'll get back to 3 wide at the very least, as like we said, this is just a very frantic start as Scioli's still trying to make up spots on the bottom. He's almost into the top 10 as Mason Kane chases Jake Matheson.
It's not going to get less frantic either. These restarts are going to be like this all night long, and the intensity, in fact, will ramp up towards the end of the race rather than cool off. But Matheson leads, Kane second, Beckner up to third. Where'd that 28 come from? He didn't have the best qualifying position, and this is more in line with what we'd seen him do in past seasons where he wouldn't qualify very well, but when push came to shove, his race pace was very good. Here he is in third.
Restarted 6th, was able to work the lanes well out of turn 2 and got to third. So now you got 3 teammates in line, as we've seen so much this season. As we got a truck in the wall, it's Ben Pierce, but he keeps it straight. But those teammates did a good job. I think they had 2 lined up on the inside. I'm not sure if they had 3 lined up on the inside, but once again, they worked together and got out front. So now you have 3 trucks making it. And look at the push Eric Wineland's got to turn number 1. He's up to 4th.
Yeah, where did he come from? 16th up to the front.
Oh, Mitchell's getting turned. He saved it. That was tight, but it's not done yet. Look at all these trucks all over the place out of 2.
I cannot believe that they didn't want him up there.
It's
Everyone,
not
don't scatter it.
Look, Scioli just backing out.
That's what I'd be doing.
It's still not done. I mean, look at this mess. I don't remember seeing this last season, and we had 11 cautions.
Yeah. How did we have 11 cautions?
They never got this many wide. I don't remember seeing it, but
we'll go back and watch that. I didn't mark it to go back.
Oh, the 4 wide at the front again. Weiland's the one that backs out. NSL got new tires already up the top 5. I did not think they'd be that valuable.
Yeah, I don't know, 9, there was only 7 or 8 laps that we were into the run. I wouldn't think so either, but gosh, this is wild here on the 14th lap of this race.
Oh, man. Yeah, we still got way too many. We still got a pit stop at least, as looks like Bobby Tinch got sideways in the very back, but once again, he didn't really slide too much. He keeps it straight. That is still a hornet's nest at the front.
Oh, Wineland!
Look out, everyone else.
And gets clobbered again.
Greg Mitchell and
Bronson Stafford.
Kyle Sieg into the wall. Gosh, I mean, there was no way that was not going to end like that. My God.
Yeah, that was a crash that probably happened 4 laps ago. And finally just came to being. And Wineland coming across the nose of Chapman here. I think he just thought he was clear and wasn't.
And he locked him down. You got all these trucks scrambling. There's not much that can be done. Greg Mitchell got the worst of that. Then Stafford, I think that's Caps, Senesac, number.
Yeah, he's just following the 88 here and just kind of lost track of the 60. Goes into the outside wall here. And then did everything he could do to keep it centered, keep the profile across the track as narrow as he could. Lets it roll backward, but then just gets absolutely drilled there. Adam Caps gets into the back of the 61. Kyle Sieg's in it. And Bryce Senesac all get collected at the tail end of that.
Yeah, Caps kind of, like a better term, kind of arc break the back of, I think that was Bronson Stafford, so that's not going to look very good as we get a view of what he saw. Just, I don't know if it's much of an arc break, just kind of ran out of time to hit the brakes. See what he even sees. See smoke. Still not lifting out of it.
That's a little long for me.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. If he was, I understand otherwise, but yeah, he took a wild even crack it. So that's never going to go over well, as he gets away with a clean truck. Maybe not a clean slate as far as the admins are concerned, as get a yellow lap 16.
Here's that Munsell incident. Let's go back and look a little bit closer at this here. I think it's going to start with the 5 and the 6 side by side here. Watch this. There's the 60. And
Here,
the 6,
4
he's
wide.
loose. He's loose already, the 6 is, and he comes down the racetrack, not intentionally. The truck was just taking him there. And the 5 might have actually saved him from making that a bigger mess.
But look at everything behind that came out of it. That's kind of how the 88 got all his spots. But look at all these guys scramble. That cost James Scioli all this track position because he had to hit the brakes from Munsell. And then he sees this. He's like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Look at this. Got guys on the apron. Weishart went below the white line. They went 4 wide even in behind that. Just Scioli just let everyone go. He's not with that. As he pits, as well as pretty much a majority of the field pit as well. but that was a great save in the middle of the traffic. Can't get enough of that. Look at this.
You know
Just
what?
he sees
I'm
Tom Bourne, he's like, no, I'm done.
Thanks, but no thanks.
It's going to switch things up as Weishart, some drivers who did pit last yellow are going to stay out. One of those being Danny Ware, who brought out that first yellow, so a little bit of a benefit for him maybe. Obviously, the 88 stays out.
Yeah, but we just saw that tires mattered, and only three trucks stayed out, and they all have 8 laps on their tires. So isn't this just the reverse of what they just did previously?
Pretty much, but it's not going to be pretty much going to be the same thing. We'll just see how much they fall back, because obviously they're in a minority this time around as well. So as here goes Ryan. Was this Ryan Swan just barely getting by a few incidents? Almost spun the bottom, didn't see that. But yeah, we'll see if the minority can stay up there and keep a decent amount of track position. We also had, I believe, some 2-tire stops as well, so we'll note those.
Great job by Ryan here. He couldn't really see it. He saw that the 2 was slowing, and then all of a sudden there's the smoke, and managed to dodge it. You were mentioning the 2-tire stops, though, Connor. That was going to be quite a few, actually. It's about half and half. Anna Sogak, Hearn, Fambro, Bourne, Nowicki are all on 2-tire stops in the top 15 or so.
And it seemed like Matheson looked like lost a lot of spots just overshooting his box from what I saw. So as far as the 4-tire drivers are concerned, I believe Travis Beckner is at the head of those, and he'll restart 8th. So we'll have to keep an eye on him.
The thing that I'm worried about is if you're going to plan to pit every 5 to 10 laps, assuming that this trend continues, you're going to run yourself out of tires. So you have to be smart about when you come down and take them. That's why I wasn't really a fan of taking them before. So I didn't really see the advantage 8 laps into the race of taking tires, maybe on the assumption that they were going to go green for longer, but we haven't seen that play out. So now I'd be worried about having to take too many.
Yeah, that's kind of the risk and reward of having a tire that wears more than you think. You obviously want to keep taking tires so you always have the most grip and making up the most time, but obviously a side effect of that, you only have 4 extra sets, so if you burned up 2 full sets in 20 laps, you're not in a great spot for the last 70 laps. So you really got to pick and choose where, what yellows you got to pit in, because you got to try to get the benefit of each strategy the most you can. So you have to be you at least have to make sure you have a set in the last 20 laps. If you're out of sets at that point, you're in trouble.
David Weishart and Danny Ware are the control trucks for this restart. 33 on the bottom will be the first to launch. We saw a penalty late in the race last night at Richmond in the Cup Series. Wait to that restart zone, and there goes the green. Pretty late in the zone for Weishart, but we're off and away again.
You can go into zone, or you can wait till the green flag. Either way, he's away with the lead, and anywhere, Jason Dalton side by side for second, and Sogak just trying to pick which lane's going to go first. I think he'll pick top. They're banging doors for second.
Yeah, it's getting physical up here. Danny was lucky enough to be able to use this yellow to kind of leapfrog.
Go 3 wide.
Oh boy, here's Anna Sogak to the bottom, and Cameron Hearn watching it all out the windshield.
Cameron could go 4, he would, but he'll stay away from that. Beckner's going to go to the way high line to try to make something work on 4 tires. That line hasn't worked in 11 years, but it might work off a turn 4th, the run he's going to get. Anna Sogak clears both Dalton and Cameron Hearn for second, as Weishart's just trying to break the draft a little bit, way to the bottom.
Yeah, Beckner, I don't love being on the high side here, just because if something happens underneath you, you're just kind of at the mercy of what happens down there. But you're going to feel like Superman up here on fresh tires here, Connor.
Yeah, the problem is if you're on the bottom, Tom Bourne slides, saves it.
Oh, that's tight.
Fambro and JT Poole. And someone else killed the 18. They're still wrecking. That was
6 just got destroyed. Oh my gosh.
That was tough. It's not been going well.
There goes my pick.
Yeah, he's done for sure. And that took out a lot more. Look at this. Two of Greg Mitchell. Yeah, was already in the first wreck. He's destroyed as well.
Yeah, so where did this start? It started with the 18, I think.
18.
Oh, no, already. Look at the bottom.
In 16. Well, 16's loose, but I see the 18. Maybe in reaction goes up into the 26.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah. He comes up in front of him.
Probably exactly what that was is just... And then the 51. What happened? Who hit the 51?
That's Adam Capps again. Look at Adam Capps. That's two in a row.
Now let's watch on board and get the different picture here.
But Mitchell's going to be out as well as Munsell. They seem to be the only two definitely off track.
Yeah, that's
1, 2.
Those are pretty slow reactions.
Oh man, and then who was that? I think that was Mitchell who hit Munsell and destroyed his car. That's bad. Once, you know, it's still bad, but whatever. And Greg Mitchell, I mean, he also kind of just flew in there. That was also not good, but the 0-5, the repeat offender, that's like a freight train.
Oh man, Mitchell, holy cow, where did
he almost, yeah, that was bad as well. He almost got through. Not much he could do at that point, I suppose. We're gonna look at this one.
No, he was slowing. He was trying. Everyone, the speed differential
just ran out of room. He almost got out of there, but here comes the 6 flying across the track. Bronson Stafford almost got there now, but that's 2 on Adam Capps that almost can't be forgiven. That one especially egregious, as the 2 and the 6 are probably done. Attrition rate starts to skyrocket at the 2-mile track.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting thing is, you know, except we're kind of 7, 8 laps apart on all of these. It just gives the field enough time to spread out before they get creative. Brad Slaughter called Colin Fambro Colin Slambro. Ouch.
Yeah.
I don't really blame the 18 there though, because he sees that spin from the 16. Who knows what he's going to do? So he's just moving over, and I think just again kind of watching out the left side and ignoring the right. We saw that similar thing happen with the 21 of Eric Wineland earlier, where just he's watching what's happening out the windshield and maybe not seeing what's happening in the corner. Ends up in the fence.
Yeah, it's just not much you can do in that scenario, because if you don't react, if they overcorrect, you're pretty much done. But it's definitely tough to pay attention to everything going around the track. You got one driver spinning, like you said, paying attention to him. Then there's a guy on your outside you kind of lose track of. That stuff can easily happen.
Yep. The 0-5 did get called on failure to brake for an incident, though, so that will be an additional penalty, although I feel like the damage is already severe enough to be a penalty of its own. As David Weishart and Justin Sogak are going to line back up for the restart. Cameron Hearn, Jason Dalton in 3rd and 4th behind. Then Danny Ware, Travis Beckner make up row 3. Mason Kane, Tom Bourne, then Jake Matheson and Jacob Bell. Now, everyone has 6-lap-old tires except for David Weishart, Jason Dalton, and Danny Ware. They are 14-lap-old tires. But again, probably about 7 or 8 of those are under caution. So, and there's a heat cycle now that's kind of equalizing them all out. So we'll see. Jury's out on that.
We'll still see if that makes a difference. Weishart kept the lead pretty well there, but that's really because they were 3 wide for second into turn number 3, so he kind of got a gap away. That's one thing we definitely, I almost guarantee we will not see tonight. Even if we get a green flag run, that leader will not get away, kind of like what we saw at Vegas. I mean, we even saw the leader maybe get away a little bit at Vegas, but it's just the draft is too strong. Straightaways are too big for that to really happen. So this is going to be pretty packed up to the very end, as we can see that track time down a little bit, but still not much.
It's still about 93 degrees. It's not cool, not hot. Maybe warm to the touch, but it's not like you're going to be burning tires up any more than you otherwise would be. David Weishart, though, leads in a Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. He's got Cameron Hearn behind him in a Ford F-150, and then Danny Ware in a Chevy Silverado. All 3 makes represented in that inside lane for the restart here at lap number 24 of 90.
Kind of a slow jump, stacking up in the back a little bit, but they kept it straight. No fight for second into turn number 1 this time, and Sogak's clear for that. They'll chase that 33 through turn number 1 and 2. All matter of what everyone does in the background.
Yeah. I'm looking for again there. Ooh, big slide by, who was that?
Jason Dalton,
Jason
maybe?
Dalton? No.
Close enough.
I think it was Danny that slid up there. Oh, no, sorry, it was Jake Matheson. He went up a couple lanes. His recovery. And here's Scioli. Remember how cautious he was before. He's up now to 11th after starting 35th by lap 24, and that's by being careful.
Yeah, he backed out of all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the justification for slowing for the accidents, because you'll make it through it and live to fight another day.
Meanwhile, those two, Sogak, Cameron Hearn, they seem pretty adamant on working together for completely shoved the 88 back out in front. Now they're top two. Now Weishart with older tires and a little bit of dirty air, and Mason Kane's trying to mix it up as well. See my pick.
Yeah, I don't think that old tires. Andy just doesn't have a lot of space. This is going to get tight.
Oh, they're going to hit. They're going to slide.
Oh, he's going to burn. Sideways, Shane Wolf. Oh no, 71. Sam Fontaine into the wall. There's someone sliding down pit lane as well.
Gosh, he killed that pit wall. Couldn't even tell who that was.
Sam Fontaine.
I think Shane Wolf went down pit road, but he looks clean. But I don't even know how that truck's still running.
Oh, so what happened here between these two?
See, I saw this kind of happen. They got really close on entry. Turns really pinching. Then Kane kind of wiggles.
Yeah, just the tiniest wiggle. And then Cameron did everything he could. Sam Fontaine gets looped around here. He ends up in the wall.
I think he came together with Shane Wolf trying to avoid.
Right there.
Yeah, Shane Wolf had this swerve and just bang.
Oh man, gosh, he almost hit the end of that pit wall too.
He almost hit that Mark Martin opening.
Yeah.
I remember that crash, but yeah, he's just avoiding Hearn. That's just unfortunate, and he kills the 71. He would not have a rear end if this was real life, but somehow that truck's still rolling. But a lot of drivers did a good job not making that even bigger. Jake Matheson in particular did a great job swerving by Cameron Hearn as Fontaine going to see what he can repair out of that 71 truck. He's one of those drivers right next to that cut line, so he really couldn't afford this.
Justin Anasogak leads the way now. Travis Beckner second, Mason Kane, Jason Dalton, Jake Matheson. David Weishart hits pit lane, so everyone's staying kind of off sequence now. About a third of the field on pit lane, the other 2/3 still out on track.
The attrition rate pick. I'm kind of surprised the 33 pit, but also I think he saw how poor the tires looked as Adam Capps gets a lucky dog out of that.
Yeah, he's flying.
Needs to get that lap back for 2 to green.
He's got really good with the throttle pedal tonight, huh?
I guess so. That's one way to put it. That will be put as an EOL on Mason Kane.
Brad Slaughter having a fun time with himself. James Pit Lane Wolf. Oh man, I like this new making up nicknames thing. Colin Slambro. Because none of those drivers really did anything particularly wrong.
I wonder if he would have said this if he was in the session.
Probably
Unfortunately,
not.
He's not able to race tonight.
Yeah, wasn't able to make it.
This is his job for the night since he couldn't race.
Yeah, closing in the 1/3 mark of this race as well, and having a look at our stats so far, we've had 4 yellows in the first 27 laps. Started out with about a 10-lap green flag run, but in the subsequent 20 laps, we've had 3 yellows.
And now it kind of changes things because it seems like the 8, 8, and 4 were working together very well. Now the 4, don't think he has any damage, but now he's out of track position. Now he has to fight his way back to the front. So the 8, 8 does not have that pushing partner he had. So now we might see a much bigger battle for that race lead as we get the 1 to green.
Sounds like Brad Slaughter's issues can be attributed to Spectrum. I could have told you that. Such a huge part of my new address in Chicago was having access to fiber internet, and I cannot overstate just the quality of life that you get when you never have to think about it.
It's certainly much easier.
It is.
Much less to worry about.
Before we get back restarted here, race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings that we've had our yellow flag extended.
You'll never guess who extended it by stopping. I believe it was a 05 of Adam Capps. That was hilarious last night. So I think it was Douglas Newbigin who delayed the green, and everyone was asking, who did it? Who done it? I think I was one of them as well, because I wanted to go. I wanted that extra lap. But yeah, that's always going to, we stop on the track, that just delays the green. That's just how iRacing works.
Now he decides to stop. Adam, my dude.
Well, he is hitting the brakes now.
Not doing yourself any favors tonight, unfortunately. There's, this race highlighted this last year as well, but there are there are times when the announcers are talking about you that are very, very good, and there's also times when announcers are talking to you that is very, very bad. And you really try hard to minimize the nights that you're having a bad night that we're talking about you a lot, because either you're getting the short end of the stick a lot of times, or you are the short stick. Tonight, unfortunately, the 0-5 has caught our strife enough, I think.
Yeah, we'll see if we can actually get around to get this green flag this time, as just having to let people by, and we'll get this restart with, what, 61 laps to go. So if we somehow got to that point of a green flag run, we still have a stop on our hands. No one can make it to the end, not even really close. I don't think the fuel can even last 40 laps, so we're still ways away from actually making it, but we got to get laps in first before that even becomes a real thought.
Yeah, and this is just like any of those other rhythmic tracks where you just have to get the field strung out. Darlington's exactly like this too, where you can have a race that's just yellow after yellow after yellow if you don't get the field strung out. I think the drivers are struggling probably with track position once the race is going, so they feel the need to get aggressive on the restarts, but that is not going to help you in the long term, because you're just going to get caught up in more and more incidents. And to add to that fact, again, we've seen how many big crashes. Only 2 trucks are out, Greg Mitchell and Justin Munsell. And this is one of those new damage model things we've talked about. There just isn't the penalty that there used to be for making mistakes.
Yeah, even the guy who killed the pit barrels is still in this race. That shows you how sturdy this new damage model is. Even has his rear bumper back, which makes a lot of sense.
He hit that thing at like 50 miles an hour backwards too. That was impressive. Give the crew
more than 50.
For that.
Yeah, for finding it even.
Yeah. Well, they knew where it was.
Fair enough.
Green flag back in the air.
As we go back green, the call to 0-5 to get to the hauler after the race.
Like I said, some nights it's better to just be under the radar. Some of those drivers have been doing that. How about Casey Lakatos up into 12th? Speaking of under the radar, started 33rd. That's almost dead last. And he's now up inside the top 15. As you mentioned, 3 wide up near the front, and a Sogak trying to defend from Beckner and Matheson.
Yeah, and Sogak didn't really want to block that top line, so Beckner's going to get to his outside and probably have control with 2 Miller Racing teammates pushing on the top side. But now Scioli, he's going to look through wide for that race lead. Not much of a push. Neither driver has a push, but that outside line's going to get Beckner to run to lead the lap. His first time to lead of the night, but no push in the turn number 1 quite yet. Now the middle and top lines get their pushers, but Scioli's kind of left out. See that 88 dive to the bottom, just trying to clear before he exits 2, and he will.
We just missed this, but Travis shot up his arm like he was commanding a horse army forward. We're going. And here's Matheson going to give him a push down the back straightaway right by the 88 and to the lead.
Yeah, nothing much. 88 lost his wingman, so those 2 teammates are just going to be able to fly right by him. No surprise there, as now they'll probably try to control both lanes here, as they'll get the push from the 88 and the 7 now. It's a heck of a run by Scioli, and he needs it big time.
Yeah, he does. He could really use a win to catapult him into position here. But, top 5s wouldn't hurt until he can get another win. There's still a few tracks. Speaking of Homestead, Miami, that's a track where we absolutely know James Scioli will be a factor here. Look at Matheson clearing up on Beckner, and that's going to give the 7 a big run down the backstretch with a push from Anna Sogak.
That's what these 2 are just going to try to do. Try to push each other out front, keep both lanes in check, but Scioli's probably going to try to break that up. The same for Anna Sogak, break that up the best they can, but there's only so much you can do. As looks like, I thought Senesac was sliding in the way back, but he kept it straight. As not as much of a scramble as it's been most of the time.
Oh, there it is. The 4's in the fence.
Never mind.
Yeah, that was ultimate announcer's curse.
Yeah. I'll get the EOL.
Yeah, I think that's what happens.
Cameron Hearn, Anna Sogak will not get his wing partner back, because that's big damage.
It's not for now. Let's see. It's on the outside of the 51 here. Does he just slide up?
I think that's the calmest it looked. But let's see.
Chris Wright, yeah.
Yeah. Comes up. I mean, the seams tell the tale there. If you look at the seams on the racetrack, he comes across those.
Very, very similar to what happened to Eric Weiland earlier, too.
Yeah, but you can tell. He just comes up. Nothing Matthew Rodriguez can do there.
I wonder if, were they 4? No, they weren't. Because I know the spotters will only report 3 wide, so you could lose that 4th truck. But they're just,
yeah.
I mean, maybe you could argue there's plenty of space.
Plenty of space, but he wasn't erratic. He held that line right there, so I think Cameron's got to honor that, not just shove him next to it.
Yeah, the 51. Maybe he had 2 feet, but you're doing 185 miles an hour right next to the concrete wall, so you got to leave at least a little bit of maneuvering room there. But either way, our 5th caution of the night, lap 34.
We'll see what drivers want to do as far as tire strategy. It's still haven't gotten run longer than our first one of the night, which was 7 laps. That one was about 3.5, so wouldn't be expecting many down, especially since we're not in our fuel window.
15 laps, but most have been under caution. I still think you're better off staying out and saving those tires for later, but will they? No.
Well, Scioli is going to come in, and Anna Sogak. That's more than I thought. And it's going to bring it down actually probably more than half the field. Well, we don't know what we're talking about, do we?
Well, I think this is what happens when you get races that have a lot of yellows, Connor, or these big tracks, because you get people off sequence that see the opportunity, and then you end up mixing the field on wildly different performance tires, and then you end up kind of creating the issue more. So it just kind of rolls into itself. So half the field on 20-lap-old tires, half the field on brand new ones. I anticipate next caution we'll see the same thing in reverse.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where we need to limit pit stops because you keep mixing these strategies, you're going to get drivers.
Well, I don't know what the point is.
It's just going to cause incidents.
We're not even halfway there, so what's the point, right? Like, just get to the halfway point and then start your strategy. Right now, it's useless because you're just going to end up deeper in the field. You're going to get caught up in a wreck. I don't see the point of pitting this many times this early in this race.
Yeah, well, you can't bring your tires to Miami next week, so use them now. I guess.
Well,
I guess that's the logic.
It's not even using the tires. What advantage is it going to get you? You're going to burn them up in 3-5 lap runs anyway, and then be back down pit lane in 15 laps. I mean, just Anna Sogak has pit 3 times. We're on lap 35. That's pitting every 3.5 laps.
Yeah,
every 10.5 laps.
Yeah, if he got 4 every time, he probably doesn't have more than 1 set left. So I don't get running yourself thin, 1 set to go. If that's been the case for some drivers, even down to 2 sets at this point is kind of
4 times. Colin Fambro's bit 4 times, but he has crash damage to repair. I think Shane Wolf does too. But again, we always see this where drivers pit a lot early, and I just don't really get it. See, I would just be riding the lane of I'm not going to pit until I lose a bunch of spots on green flag track position. Right?
Especially
so the one risk you run is that, okay, now the race goes green and you run 30 laps and you don't have the tires to compete, but that isn't going to happen just based on the historics of how races like this transcend. So I don't know what the risk is really.
Especially confusing because it seems like track position is so important. It seems like once you lose it, it's almost going to be easier to get in a crash than getting it back. So we just saw that with Cameron Hearn after he had his spin. Obviously, he didn't pit to get back there, but he lost his track position, immediately got caught up in something. Scioli, if he hasn't been so cautious, he would have been caught up in a few incidents by now, and he just went back there again. We haven't seen Mason Kane get back to the front. He's back in about 24th position or so. So I just don't see the reason you put yourself back there. But I think people are I feel like a lot of it's just drivers betting on those green flag runs happening and just having to freshen rubber. I just don't see that, and you should really bet on that with the way it's going. You can always clean up. They cleaned up last night. I mean, we didn't have that many yellows at the beginning, but we had some and then went green. But
yeah, I think that's kind of the exception, though, not the rule for this. Yeah. I mean, I think it would. I'll bet you, and we should have Hunter do the stats on this, that historically, if you go the first 50 laps green, most of the rest of the race will be green. But if you have a yellow flag before lap 20, then we tend to get something like this. But let's see what they have working lap 37 of 90. Here we go. Jake Matheson is the control truck. We're back underway at Michigan.
Already got to check out a line. I think that's Zapata's on the very top. So he actually might have gotten a spot from Tom.
Oh, Beckner's going to get used up down here at 1.
Jason Dalton, not a driver we usually see up here, but he and Joey Chapman having good runs.
Saw the head shake in there from Travis. Didn't appreciate that on the restart.
Seen that, I think it's the second time we've seen Dalton do that.
Yeah.
He did the same thing.
Tana Sogak, I think, was it previously? Or maybe it was JT.
Sorry, one of the others.
Yeah. He's been aggressive up there.
Oh, we're 4 wide again as well. At least it looks like it. Ben Pierce is out of the way, so make that 3 wide. Scioli and Anna Sogak are on the bottom lines of that, and that's Bronson Stafford forcing it 4 wide.
I don't like it.
Points out too. That's always great.
Still
Always
4.
great when
Still 4. Jacob Bell stuck in the middle, nowhere to go. He's going to have to bail. Here's Casey.
Ooh, Bobby Tinch, a little slide, kept it straight. But those new tires matter a little bit. Weishart's going to go 3 on the bottom with Scioli as those 2 Miller teammates.
I'm going to give him
still working the lead.
The benefit of the doubt here. If this was a less skilled group, we would have had about 10, 15 cautions by now with how wild this has been. But the same token,
Yikes.
don't know that we need to be doing this every restart forever.
Problem is, the runs are so big, you almost feel obligated to at least take it. That's why we see this, because you don't want to stack up. So drivers keep making those 3 wide moves.
Oh boy. Wow, look at it. Is that Gary Waterworth way up top there? No, that's the 65 of Ben Pierce.
Ben Pierce, he's
Just
just giving
riding.
everyone room.
You guys feel free to race 4 wide.
I'd rather have 35 trucks in my front windshield right now. I talked about not laying back. I want to lay back right now unless I'm Jake Matheson or Travis Beckner. I mean, this is literally pack racing. We are 3 by 3.
It's pack racing, but it doesn't have the order of a Daytona or a Talladega where you've got neatly constituted lines. Everybody's everywhere.
It almost looks more like an old style race, like in the Gen 4 bodies, like that little bit spread out feel where you're all over the track. It's kind of what it looks like as Weishart's loose. Got others
Lakatos
on the apron.
and Bourne. They had a bit of a coming together. That forced Bourne onto the apron. He saves it. And there's a spin, the 31.
Mason Kane.
And caution.
Doesn't hit the wall. Got away with that one. Minimal contact for everyone, but
This is probably...
Oh, is that Peachin maybe? Looked like a orange and black.
No, I think Kane comes across the road, I think. It's hard to get a good look at
kind of
this.
like another good save by Tom Bourne.
I have to get a look from on board the 69 to get it. It is Peachin.
Pushing 5 wide here. Kane, I think Kane knew that and just tried getting up in front of. He tried getting up in front of Garrett Grant. Peachin couldn't really react at times.
I'll leave that one up to the stewards. I frankly don't have much of an opinion on that one. I think Peachin could have lifted there, and I think the 31 didn't need to dart to the outside.
I have an opinion on the race. Crazy. Now what will we see with tire strategy? I can't expect the leaders to come in, but that was probably our longest run. We're seeing 4 wide every restart besides the top 2 leaders. I don't know why these 2 would pit anytime soon, but I feel like they might even consider it this time because now we're close to halfway. We're at least getting closer to that fuel window if we save enough fuel.
So this is pretty much exactly what I was expecting, right? I mean, we're just the inverse of what we just saw. And it's just going to keep the divide between the performances of these trucks fairly sizable. Travis Beckner making time. That was impressive.
Once again, going to mix up the order. Puts Weishart and Scioli on the front row. Anna Sogak's back up to 5th. That's a lucky dog for Kyle Sieg. He's at least 4 down. But even a bigger shakeup on the outside and around that top 10 spot with guys like Danny Ware, who's been up and down. Case Lakatos up to 9th. Urian up to 8th. Jacob Bell, the 77's in 7th. So this will be another one of those restarts, I'm sure, where we'll see drivers going all over the place. 3, 4. We might even see. We're going to see 5 wide by the end of this race.
Have we not already? I think we did.
I mean, if we haven't, we're going to. We're not even halfway in this race, and we might have seen 5 wide. That's never a great sign.
No.
As looks like that was about 14 or so trucks that pit. Really not a lot that time.
And we've got about 5 that are in the box for more than 30 seconds. Fambro, Hearn, Kane, Fontaine, Wineland. And still only 2 trucks that are listed as out. Nope, I lied. Only 1 truck that is listed as out.
Justin Munsell, I believe. I think Greg Mitchell got back on track. And Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. That attrition rate does not go up when you can repair all your damage. So we still have 33 trucks on the lead lap. And soon enough, we'll probably have Kyle C back on the lead lap, who's 3 laps down in 34th. I wouldn't even count Greg Mitchell out, 9 laps down.
Scioli back to second, magically. Now the strategy of that Scioli's been playing looks aggressive and conservative all at once, and I don't know how, but it's working out for him so far. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and some credit where credit is due.
Like a green. Let's see what happens here. But you got to be very careful if you're Scioli. I mean, you crash out here, even with, like we said, no one's going out of this race. You crash out here, finish outside the top 30, your chances are almost done. So, like, you need a good finish. Even if you don't win, you need at least a top 5, top 10.
So we're coming up on the halfway point of this race, and some of the trucks, it's been hard to tell with all the pit stop sequences, but some of the trucks have been lingering closer to the front than others. You got to throw Weishart in that category. Joey Chapman continues to find himself up in this mix.
And Justin Anasogak back there in 5th.
Yeah, his qualifying efforts
constant.
the last 3 seasons should be indicative of pace here, so he gets a chance to show it.
Really got the top 3. You got Anasogak. You have Travis Beckner, Jake Matheson in there as well. So I've seen 5 trucks that are capable of winning. Obviously, I think everyone's capable of the way this race is going. They've been like the 5 dominant right now.
Working lap 44, coming to the restart. David Weishart's in command. Green flag back in the air here in Michigan. Beckner was that Beckner back there?
Yeah, he went to the 3rd lane immediately. No rule on that, so all legal as long as you don't go inside of someone per iRacing rules. And Weishart gets away, and Joey Chapman just about clear for 2nd, but Anasogak's got that run on the bottom, but no help.
Down the back straightaway. Yeah, Anasogak, this 88. Did anybody pick him to win this race? Because he's just been on it tonight. There's Joey Chapman going for the lead down there in turn 3. He's going to use the middle of the road and force Weishart a little wider.
Use that middle, Anasogak's going to run that bottom, but can't really run down there and get a good run off the front stretch. But Scioli might be able to push him here, and they're going to blow by the 33 maybe into turn number 1. Therian swerves to the bottom to get by one of the Elite Performance trucks.
That's fun. Right behind Jacob Bell here in the 77. Florida State Builders truck. We'll be back at Richmond on Thursday.
Ryan Swan spinning. There's another crash.
And Elwood's in it, and again. More trucks.
Bronson Stafford. I think Alan Elwood showed up tonight.
Oh, sorry. Did I say Elwood?
Yes.
What did I? It's 49.
Bronson Stafford, maybe? Or yeah, Danny Ware.
It's 49 that is throwing me off here. Let's see. Where's the 20?
I think a rolling start would help. He just lost it on his own. Oh, yeah. Stafford, Peachin kind of pile in. Tom Bourne, don't know how much anyone else got involved in that. Oh, look out, JT.
Yeah, that just that just stinks because it just keeps stacking and there's really a lot.
Tom Bourne, he did a great job getting by that, actually. And then JT, look out.
Oh, man.
The avoidances have been pretty good for the most part tonight. Yes, let's keep a very active not getting on the brakes that time.
I'll give him credit that time. He's cleaned it up now. 25th made it through.
Message received.
And a 20 will get the EOL for that one. So remember earlier I asked you how we got 11 cautions? Now I know. And we're off to a not good trend on this one either, I'd say, unfortunately. I will say that so far in this season, the average yellows of the Truck Series seems to be down like 80%. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like it. When there are bad nights, you just kind of have to take it with the punches. But Joey Chapman by himself.
This is just closer and closer to that fuel window. Only thing I can think of, but he will be on a lonely island this time. He doesn't have 10 other trucks this time.
He was 30 laps into his stint. That's why.
makes a little more sense. Ryan Nowicki might have been the next one to pit with him, so he'll go back and try to climb his way back through. Hope to stay out of the chaos. This looks like Sean Peachin's going to be our next retirement of the night. Remember the pace car ran out of fuel at Laguna Seca? We might be reaching that category as Kyle C gets another lucky dog. Scioli up the third. He takes out the cone. That's kind of what you do when you get a race like this. You kind of start taking out cones. So and Jacob Bell up the fifth. That's a decent run for him. He's actually had a good truck season so far. He's pretty high up in the points last I checked, 10th in points, which is really good for him, even with 4 top 10s, no top 5s. Garrett Grant, he ran well at Richmond. That seems to be his track, but he's even top 10 tonight. And Beckner, the highest up on new tires. He's back up to 10th now. As Anna Sogak stops. This is interesting. Had some sort of issue.
What's going on here?
I think he had some issue. Had to be hardware.
Yeah.
Good thing no one got caught up in that. We saw that last season here as well.
Yeah.
But that would be a big development.
It seems like it's still under human power, just maybe his monitor's gone dark or something. We get the one to green. He's going to lose his spot in line here, unfortunately. No, he's only... Looks like he's just idling, not steering away from the wall.
It's like he had to leave. Like something happened, maybe. Yeah. Don't know. Either way, that's pretty big because he's been really fast all night long, and that's gonna stop us for a while here if he can't get back going.
Huh? This is bizarre.
They said in radio, at least it sounded like the drivers in his Discord channel said it sounded like he got up and ran away from his rig because he is in Discord still. Yeah.
When you see stuff like that, you just hope that there's
nothing serious. Yeah.
It's when you just walk away from that. I mean, you'd expect Alt F4, but at the moment, who knows? They might just leave that truck there. It's out of the way, so it might be fine to continue. I don't think it'll trigger another yellow.
We'll have to see here. Also, at the same time, Mason Kane, I just look at the entries. His ping's at 1,500, and his quality's dropping.
So I don't think a real number.
I'm seeing it. It is showing me 1,500. So it looks like he's probably done as well, as even under yellow, things are kicking off. We'll see if we get the green flag here, even though the 88 stopped.
I think we will because he's off track. I don't think it'll trigger. It already would have triggered it. So we're going to go back green here, lap 49, and we're back underway.
And the next question would be if they come back around, and if they come back around, looks like he's going now, he's moving, so he's back. And we'll get some, obviously have some, black flags to clear as he gets back going. Meanwhile, Weishart leads.
What did black flag him? I think if he's been sitting down there long enough.
It might flag the others for passing him. I'm not sure, depending on what happened. But either way, he gets back going. Hopefully everything's all good with him. Meanwhile, David Weishart keeps that lead, and that's Joshua Balliet.
Yeah,
I haven't talked about him all night.
32 laps on his tires, though, so this is not going to last for long. But, I mean...
Ace Licata's top 5.
The top 7 all have tires older than 14 laps, so maybe if they get another quick yellow, they'll all come to pit lane and he'll keep this spot. But good run there for Balliet. Bell's up to 3rd in that 77. Here he comes to the bottom.
Look at the pinch. That's where it gets risky, pinching like that, especially with the types of hit incidents we've seen from left front to right rear. It's risky, but if it works out, you get the run down straightaway, and now Jacob Bell's in a bad spot. Everyone's pushed on that top side, and Scioli's going to pick the bottom.
Scioli to the lead for a moment. See if the 33 can wind it up on the outside. Look at Beckner up top. Whoa, a little wobble there by the 2 leaders.
A little close for comfort there, almost mixed lanes with each other, but now that bottom line loses its run. Bell's going to try to get second out of all this. Jarvis Beckner keeps going to that high side. He's trying to pass Balliet. Now Bell's going to block that way high side. Beckner's going to look middle. This is where it gets tough. Mason Kane's back on track after that. They're 3 wide for about 4th.
Jake Matheson's got a run coming here on fresher tires than pretty much everybody ahead of him, and he's using this outside lane. It's the clearest road ahead. 28 slide up here between the 77 and 07.
Athens going to clear Furion, try to use his air to push him forward a little bit. He's got a little run on Elliott.
Bell on the high side here, Weishart in the middle, Scioli on the bottom, and then Beckner filling in behind.
Beckner just, it's still shocked how important new tires are, as he almost came up in front of a 77 because I think Scioli squeezed him. Now Matheson's going to give him that shove to get that momentum back, and that was almost a big one, as his tires mean so much. Beckner could easily get the lead here, but the question is, it's not even really a question. He's not going to be able to pull away, but it might make the fence once he gets to the lead much easier.
And hearing that it was a dogfight to break up, so hope the dogs are all right, but good to know that Dustin's all right. Here comes Beckner middle, 3 wide on the 7 and the 77. We know that Beckner and Scioli have not always been the coziest of buddies, and now the 77's got to deal with it on the outside.
I mean, not much he can defend with, but he did. Matheson couldn't really stay with the 28 there, but Beckner gets the spot regardless. Now we'll see if Scioli gives him the middle back, as we got swerving in the very back. Couldn't tell who that was, but Cameron Hearn, Kyle Sieg went to the way apron to avoid something, but still couldn't see what it was. Weishart leads. Bell keeping tow for that second position. Now Beckner and Scioli going to have to push a little bit here with Matheson in tow, but it looks like Bell is going to go to the right rear of Weishart. Took him by surprise. Now Beckner looks middle. Now Scioli looks bottom, and now everyone's going for the lead.
Gosh, 3x3 for the front here. This is wild stuff.
Oh, Weishart sliding, though. He's going to lose a lot of momentum off corner exit.
Oh, this is going to send everyone wide here on the back straightaway, I think, because these big runs are going to come into 3. Look at the 52 of Matheson joining the party. 5-6 trucks on top of each other into turn 3.
About make it 7 with Scioli with no help, but Beckner will have the grip, but not going to be able to do anything with Weishart. He's going to shove that 33 further up the track. Then here comes his teammate Matheson to help him. Scioli, now Therian's going to try to push him back up there in that fight, and Jacob Bell just can't stay with Weishart, so those two Miller teammates going to get back to the front here.
Here we go. We got some momentum rolling now up front. This is good stuff. Beckner takes the lead away. Weishart's going to be a little wobbly on this outside. He's got Matheson in the middle and Scioli on the bottom, and they're 3 wide for second, and the leader's clear, and everybody's everywhere on the backstretch.
Oh, we got another slide in the back, and it's going to be another yellow. It's a single truck spin. Danny Ware again. That breaks up that crazy battle. Dang it. I know. that was pretty good for a while there. There's another slide on his own. Yeah. It's twice tonight, but he did a good job at least limiting the damage once more, and we'll see a lot more pit stops this time, I think, because now we're definitely in our fuel window from what I think I know.
Yeah, 35 laps, I think that should be doable. Yeah, it definitely
really
is, because there's trucks out there that have 40 laps on their tank. Joshua Balliette's one of them, which Balliette really needed that yellow when he got it.
And meanwhile, yeah, we'll see if Joey Chapman pits. He's really the only one in question who might not pit. He got back up to 16th, but we'll see if he wants to cut his losses or not.
9 laps. I think I would rather pit and race it to the end. There's going to be enough restarts and opportunities. Going back, you just mentioned Danny Ware's troubled night. Most recently, this one down here in turns 1 and 2. Just closer to the exit of the corner here. It just kind of walks up the hill on him, and around it went. And then earlier, lap number 7 of this race, he was right ahead of the 28.
Beckner and Matheson, meanwhile, do stay out. Looks like everyone else came down, but we'll get a view on the other trouble Danny Ware had. This was the first one where he just has not had the truck under him really all night. He's made a few good saves out of turn 2, just limiting damage.
Yeah, that time didn't really get a chance to save it because he had the 28 behind him.
Have a handful staying out. Beckner, Matheson, then Michael Curhan. We haven't talked about a lot tonight, but he's been lingering. And then JT Poole, he's had damage from really the first or second yellow. He's going to restart 4th, and that's it. Just those 4. So everyone else comes off pit road. And Joey Chapman, couldn't tell what he took, but he got off pit road first.
Chapman took 2 tires. I like that call, though, because it gets you in the fuel window, and it halves your tire deficit. and puts you ahead of everyone else that you were pitting with. Ryan Swan did the same, ends up 9th. Adam Capps does the same, ends up 12th. So I like the 2-tire call in these intermediate circumstances. Leaves you with a set of 2 you can use a little bit down the line as well.
Meanwhile, Lucky Dog does go to Justin Asogak, so he does get the yellow he needed.
That's good. Getting him back up in the picture. He had such pace early, and thankfully that, all things considered, given that he had to get up immediately, actually that truck coasted pretty conveniently to a stop on the apron and without hitting anything. So.
Yeah, you remember I don't even know if you remember the Nationwide Series race where I think it was Ryan Sieg's car went rolling down the hill after it came off the wreck. You remember that? That's kind of what that reminded me of. It just went perfectly to the point where it didn't affect anyone. So that worked out really well for him, actually, all things considered, as Kyle Sieg unfortunately hurt his Lucky Dog chances, as well as Mason Keynes, who's still having internet issues. So got a number of drivers laps down now.
Jason Dalton has just pulled off the track, and that will add to Bronson Stafford, Sean Peach, and Justin Munsell, who are out in this one.
That was an odd one, because he was just at the front. And I don't think he was even involved in anything.
Just so it's clear, I picked Justin Munsell to win this race. He is going to finish dead last tonight, so that is how my season has gone.
Both our picks are outside the top 30, because Mason Keynes having internet issues as well.
It seems like when Justin has a bad night, it just goes 12 out of 10 bad. It's either Justin finishes second or he finishes 32nd. There's really not much in between, and typically it's not of his own doing. Remember back in the was it the Florida State Builders Pro Series when he was about to transition into the playoffs or to the next round of the playoffs rather, and ended up getting taken out under yellow at Talladega.
That was the cutoff, and that just completely derailed his playoff chances. Just remember to look at him stunned. I mean, it was it's either he's either heartbroken. Like at Gateway, I think it was in the Truck Series. At Gateway, he lost by maybe a front bumper to I think James Scioli. It's either heartbreaking or he doesn't even get a chance. It almost never ends well for Munsell, but sooner or later it definitely will. There's just too much pace for it not to go that way.
Try this again, lap 59 of 90. About 20 minutes of racing. We're getting pretty close to the end of this thing if it were to go green. We had a longer run of green running that time through, so it could start ticking down. Travis Beckner is the control truck. He's on the inside in the 28. And here we go, back underway at Michigan in the Area Truck Series.
We'll be interested to see how this restart goes with most new tires at the front already, with Scioli wasting no time. They're going to squeeze Joey Chapman in the middle.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's going to just hit the brakes and back out of it. Doesn't want any part of that, at least not yet.
Here goes Jacob Bell, 3 wide. Beckner's going to block the middle. Curran's having none of that. Now he blocks his teammate at the top side. Scioli and Curran almost had to come together because of that. They're getting aggressive trying to keep the track position, because if they get in the dirty air on old tires, it's going to be a little bit more tough. As Matheson wiggled, as they're still 3 wide tight. They're going to go 4. They're blocking almost into the grass on the front stretch.
Oh, this is not going to work out well. They're not going to get spotter calls for this on the run down to turn 1, so hope they're paying attention out the right side windows. Jacob Bell, there's no way he makes this corner like this.
They're going to have to. Joey Chapman backs out. JT pulls up the truck. They made it work somehow, and Beckner kept the lead out of all that. Spin, Dylan Lee cautions out. Single truck spin again out of turn 2. The treble spot tonight for sure is that exit. But should have happened in the turn 1.
The same spot as the 49.
Just nothing, no grip at that point of the track for some trucks, I suppose.
Had Dylan Lee marked earlier. This was our first big slip. This was lap 3. This didn't cause a yellow, but here, this is when he kind of washed up into the 0-1 and saved it. Look how much load he had on that left side tire.
He has 3 tires on the ground, basically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that one brings out a yellow, so he'll get his first EOL. That's our 9th caution of tonight.
This is not going well, is it?
It's kind of shocking because we're actually close to our last season's count, and that was like the end of a world. But
well, it was the end of the world. We should clarify that it was the end of the world
because of how that season was going.
Well, that and the kinds of incidents that we were seeing, it was just people driving into each other. Like, it was not even and then people crashing under caution. There was a whole bunch of things that led to that one being a
there was
mess,
a lot.
This numbers 38 green flag laps out of 62.
It just definitely feels like this has been better. It's just still just had a lot of cautions that have kind of broken up some of the action. As we'll see if these Miller teammates come down this time. Yeah, so they'll cut their losses, which is really surprising to me.
It's like 5 cars pit every yellow, and it feels like everyone's pit 47 times, but they've only actually pit 3 times.
See, that one I really don't understand. I mean, I guess they stayed out last yellow, so I guess they kind of probably couldn't make it to the end. Maybe they pitted like lap 47 though, so they would have been close. So maybe it's just to ensure they can make it to the end. But either way, I don't get giving up the track position. You're giving up a lot this time too, I would think.
Well, we're getting closer to the tail end of the race when I want to stop giving it away. So that's when you get to 30 to 25 to go, and I stop wanting to leave the track position up for grabs. I want to start clinging to it.
Kyle Sieg's the next to drop out due to internet. So all those laps he was getting back are by the wayside now. Mason Kane got the lucky dog. He'll go 1 down, I believe. So that attrition rate, we're getting more trucks out of the race. Munsell Peachin, Bronson Stafford, and Jason Dalton. Maybe Kyle Sieg. We'll see if he gets back in. But that's still, considering how much we've seen, it's still not that much.
I think Sieg's out. What I can tell, he's not in the truck nor deciding to get back in. Greg Mitchell, though, is amongst those that are out, but still rolling on track. 9 laps down. And gain at least 2 spots.
Yeah. Try to at least make up anything that he possibly can. As he's had a little bit of a rough season. He's down 19th in points and only 2 top 10s. And this is a driver I believe made the Pro Series championship for just a season ago. But Truck Series side, not the luck he needs. And if he was going to get a win in the next 3 weeks, he needs to make sure to be in that top 20. And he came into tonight about 7 points ahead of that cutoff. So he needs as many points as he can get.
Yeah, and looking at the running order right now, trucks that are in contention here that could really mix things up. James Scioli leading the way. You've got Joey Chapman up here. I don't think he's really in contention for the playoffs, but if he were to win this race, he could certainly throw things off. David Weishart is up in the front. It wouldn't throw the cut line off, but he would bump Curran Therian a little bit closer to being out. And you have to keep an eye on guys like JT Poole, of course. JT's had an up and down night, but we know the talent level's there. We know the pace is there. If he were to get a little closer to that cut line, if I'm Jacob Bell or Anna Sogak, I'm sweating a bit.
And we're going to have that extra spot be opened up by Nathan Jump not returning to this series the past 3 weeks. He's going to be eliminated, cannot miss 3 races and make the playoffs, not eligible. So that is going to open up as well. So those drivers who are on the cut line, close to it, like JT Poole and Sam Fontaine, who's had issues tonight, it opens up at least potentially one more avenue to get in.
James Scioli leads the way. How unlikely that may sound after the night he's had. Started 35th on the last row and is now leading this race. He has led 3 laps. He will add a 4th to the resume this time through as we get closer and closer to 25. Make that 35 laps to go. Lap 64. Here we go. Green flag.
Watch Beckner here restarting from about 19th, 20th position. He's already below the white line making moves. Gets back up. But he won't be at the front for at least a few more laps. As Skyler and Weishart will clear for the lead, as getting a little darker than we've seen here in seasons past. Balliet and Bell will be side by side for 3rd.
Yeah, Balliet's really been impressing me. Now he's on sequence with everyone at 0-7. Maybe not one to watch to win, but a top 5 absolutely in conversation tonight. Garrett Grant also. Him up in 8th place. And then Ryan Swan, remember, he's on the tail end of that top 20 positions. And he's up in the top 10 doing everything he needs to do to put himself in position to steal one from the rest of the field.
He's one of those drivers you definitely got to watch out for. He's been close years past. I think he got 2nd to Hardin last season, and he's even gotten one other one stolen from him in seasons past. This track has bit him. He's trying to get back up there to try to take a bite back out of this track. three wide in the back. Danny Ware is one of those, as Matheson and Beckner trying to get through on the top side. Well, Jacob Bell, he's trying to get some redemption. He's going for the race lead.
Going on the high side here. It's going to pinch the 7 to the bottom. It's going to open up the door for Bell to swoop up on the outside with help from Balliet. Weishart's going to push the 7, of course. There's Tom Bourne in the 16. What if he were to steal a win in this one?
He's had a number of slides tonight as well. That would be a heck of a recovery if he can pull that off. There's a number of players that could be shocking winners, but he's still got the series champ to deal with in James Scioli. He's going to clear both Weishart and Bell, leave them side by side. I think they both want to try to control the lead, him in the 33, but not really able to do that right now, as here comes Shane Theory, and he has a big run on Tom Bourne.
Went elevator move top to bottom there on the exit, and here comes Bell at the bottom, trying a different lane, all the way on the apron, but he's going to wiggle and wobble, and it's going to give the 7 the run.
And the 33 is easily going to go with Scioli, not a tough decision there at all, as now they're 3 wide for about 4. Therian's going to go all the way to bottom. He might look 3 wide for this second position, but they're 3 wide for 4th anyways. Tom Bourne's got nowhere to go. 3 wide and behind as well.
They see the wide everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. Or 4 here, mid-turn 1 and 2.
5.
I can't count that high out of turn 2. Look at Cameron Hearn's in the middle of all that.
He's still alive?
That was exactly what I was thinking.
He's coming through the field. He's top 10. And a Sogak there as well. He's on the bottom all alone. Chapman's loose in the middle. Even Eric Wineland's right there. And he was totaled earlier, and he's not out of this fight. And here comes Hearn with a push from Jake Matheson. He's going to be back in this fight.
Scioli on the outside. Bell almost on the apron. Turning off into turns 1 and 2 here. Middle, bottom, outside. Everyone's using every lane here. Oh, wall. Turn 1.
Ryan Swan
Dylan Lee.
and Dylan Lee.
They'll keep it straight.
Oh boy, this is something else.
Unlikely players at the front here. Tom Bourne and Balliet and Shane Wolf and Lakatos. Casey's had a really good night. He's been up here more than he's not.
And even the guys that have been up front but are just climbing back are shocking. I don't know how Cameron Hearn's almost top 10. Matheson's not too surprising. Eric Weiland was destroyed. He's back up there. Even Gary Waterworth's not out of this. This is just crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's like mixing up. Pretty interesting concoction for the last 30 or so laps of this race. Scioli leads down the backstretch. Here's a little fight bit deeper in the field. Michael Curhan, Eric Wineland, Gary Waterworth, as you mentioned, and then there's Joey Chapman back here. This is battle for 14th.
And I'm not going to jinx anything, but this is a good battle right now, like you said, for about this 14th position.
Got her! Joey Chapman has been elected to hit pit lane.
Well, that's one way to end a good run for the time being. Looks like he got loose on his own out of 4, and I don't think Danny Ware could do anything about that.
Oh,
but either way,
16 sideways.
And he's not done yet.
No.
I mean, it seems like we get to a point in the run where you just don't have grip on exit, and we're back to that point. Now Hearn and Beckner are door slamming. They no love lost between those two as well, and Anna Sogak's kind of on the, I would say he's in the middle of it. He's on the bottom of it, actually.
Yeah, you don't want to be between these two, I'll tell you that.
No.
Boy. They're going to end up together, though. The 16 is just out of control right now. He's got no grip.
Oh, we don't got room for 4 wide. Bourne's going to block Hearn, and they're going to go 4 wide. And they're not giving a lot of room while doing 4 wide either. And now it looks like Bourne gets back clear. Scioli's still leading Weishart and Balliet. Well, this goes crazy back here.
Cameron's not waiting around. He's certainly not going to let the 28 get away with this, so he's going to sneak up to the outside behind the 16, who somehow coalesced that. Oh, he's going to side draft the 28 big time, too.
Boy.
Gosh.
Furthest up on new tires is Matheson. He's just passing James Shanewolf for the 7th position, so he doesn't have Beckner with him this time to push him, though, so he's going to have to get this lead all on his own, or he just waits for Beckner to get up there. That's one scenario as well. He gets by Lakatos at the same time.
Bryce Senesac had a big moment in turns 3 and 4. This pack, I think, is where the excitement's going to be. Garrett Grant, Beckner, Bourne, Hearn, Anna Sogak, Curhan, and Wineland.
Flirting. They're like barely 3 wide. Hope they all know how close it is as they clear Tom Bourne. Now Grant's got the run on Beckner. 28 just can't clear without that help. So it's going to take him a little longer. Meanwhile, Matheson, he's outside Therian for 5th. He's outside Jacob Bell as well for 4th. Now they're 3 wide, and that 52's charging.
Yeah, he's coming and coming quick. 18 laps to go this time by Scioli. was nose to tail with Weishart a moment ago, but as long as they're nose to tail, I don't think there'll be as much volatility as when that 52 gets up there, then it's game on.
Yeah, then they got to decide how they're going to try to keep that 52 behind at least one of them. So they're going to have to try to play some games. JT Poole, I think he had a slide in the back, but he kept it straight under the 88 of Anasogak for about 14th. That paddle will not go away. That 52 is charging right now. He's up to 4th, and he'll look inside Balliet for 3rd.
Jacob Bell slots to 6th. Here comes Casey Lakatos from 33rd up to 5th.
Tom Bourne, slide again. He's in a world of hurt right now, but once again kept it straight. I think he and Michael, he just got loose. He and Curran then had contact. He'll fall back.
Not going to get better either. You start beating those tires up, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse as it goes on.
Well, here goes Matheson inside Weishart now. Scioli goes to protect that bottom line, give him dirty air, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. The only thing that's going to help is that everyone else will be on the top side, not giving Jake Matheson a push. And then you have to wait for Travis Beckner to get up there, and he's still in a battle for 7th. But now you're going to see Scioli just completely take that line away. We might see Matheson either get physical or just get close enough to his rear bumper to get him loose. That's really all you need to do, as we've seen today.
Doors open. Here comes Matheson to the inside.
See what push Weishart can get. See if he can get the 7 back clear. I think he will, just in time. Here goes Beckner for 5th.
Beckner dropped out of the top lane pretty late on the straightaway there. But he's coming.
Oh, that's a slide job right there.
Oh,
he is sliding.
Gosh, that was big time sideways. The 33 had to lift. Here comes Balliet to the inside.
And that's going to really hurt Scioli's chances of keeping this lead. I don't know how much longer he can keep Matheson behind. Matheson's going to look to the right rear of the 7. Scioli fires it in, but now here comes his crossover. He's going to bait him into driving it in hard. Then he's going to try to get the run out of 4 to clear him maybe into turn 1. But neither driver has a push. It's just these two. So the furthest out, we've seen 2 trucks today.
Beckner on a mission here. Got to get dispatched this 33 here before these front 2 are able just to settle it amongst themselves. Beckner, big lunge.
It's not going to work.
Slides across the nose of the 33. I cannot believe he cleared him there. I thought for sure he was going into fence.
Here we go for the lead. Matheson gets to the inside. And I don't think Scioli's going to have much to defend with, but he's going to try to pinch the heck out of Matheson, I would think. It's his only shot right now. Matheson just has enough grip to drive in and clear him on his own.
Scioli tried to throttle up mid-corner, but he could not. Now Travis Beckner up to 3rd place. I knew I should have picked that 28. He's coming quick. 14 laps to go.
Now Weishart's going to start the fade here. Therian gets up to gang up on the 33 of Jacob Bell and Balliet. That 07 is also falling back pretty far currently, as they're going to door the Therian and Casey Lakatos.
Casey's slipping now. He was as high as 5th.
Oh, we got a spin. Spinning the way back.
JT Poole saved it. Gonna lose some ground though.
Yeah, I feel like guys like Hearn and Anasogak are still fast enough, but they got separated from the main pack, and they're just not going to be able to recover in time.
No, the laps are clicking down, and we're getting to the point now where a couple more yellows ends this thing. Matheson and Scioli, 10th and a half apart, but here comes Beckner for P2.
See how much harder Scioli tries to fight this one, but we're going to see that big slide job move by Beckner, and it might end in more contact between these two. It is. I don't know how they saved it that time, but it's not even over.
A couple of seasons ago, these two wadded each other up at Las Vegas, and there was big drama there. Side by side into turn 3, Beckner trying to complete this pass on Scioli. There is no secret that these two are not buddies on the racetrack. But Scioli doesn't have the tire to compete with it, and there goes the hand in the air. Beckner's mission now refocuses on the rear tailpipes of his teammate's truck.
We'll see, these two are probably going to pull away from everyone else at this point. I don't even know who the 3rd next on tires is. But it's going to be down to these two without a caution.
Michael Curhan is back in 7th right now, so not close enough, I don't think, to get there. Well,
yeah, he's got to go
say
quick.
that, but he's 3 wide looking for spots.
But he's got to go. He's getting held up big time here, and those two are a second ahead. Those 3 are really a second ahead. Scioli is staying with these 3, but I just don't think he can really match.
No, maybe he's hoping to just cling to the tailpipes in case they start to battle amongst themselves, which I imagine they'll do at some point. Matheson has more wins than Beckner does, so if you're talking, the strength of a team, you're maybe going to try to balance those things out, but I just don't have a feeling that anyone's going to give anybody a win.
I wouldn't think so. Both of them are locked in, so there's really no really no pain. Get racing forward as battle for 13th is probably the trouble spot as well. Senesac just slid up in front of Wineland. Danny Ware sliding again. Cameron Hearn's still in the middle of all this. And Sokek's actually gotten by all that, but it might be too late.
Danny Ware still middle 3 wide here. And Pierce on the bottom. Coming to 10 laps to go. It's amazing how quick this race goes when you're clicking off green. Whoa, big slide there. Cameron Hearn, there they go. Wineland's in the fence. Keeps it straight.
We got to slide out of 4. Someone spun on their own out of 4, and it's Ryan Nowicki.
That'll bring out the yellow.
Not yet. He kept it straight.
Wow.
But he's still sliding, though. He might, I don't even know what's going on anymore, but we're under 10 to go regardless.
Still green.
Poor Michael Curran just, he can't get to the outside of anyone to make up time with the tires. At the bottom, he's got no help.
That was lucky to get away without a yellow here because we get to keep this momentum rolling. Scioli, Beckner, Matheson, your top 3 in reverse order there. Matheson leads, but 9 to go. Now you have to start plotting if you're Beckner. How do I beat my own teammate at his own game on the same tires?
Don't really quite know. Because Ryan Nowicki had another spin at a turn 2, so these leaders are going to come up on him, so we have to watch this right now when they come up on him. Meanwhile, Beckner keeps getting runs, but I really don't think he wants to go side by side right now, mainly because I don't think he wants Scioli to even have a chance. So he's really just trying to play the long game right now.
Jacob Bell's got a horn behind him as well. Weishart, Curhan, Therian, AC Lakatos, Joshua Baliana. Josh has still done a nice job. I know he's drifted back to 9th, but he's still done an immense job this race.
Here's Curhan. Now he's going to try the way high side. Because this battle, that was, I think Tom Borden and Fambro were in there trying to battle, but this is the highest I've seen anyone run, and it's actually going to get him to the right rear of Weishart, so might have found a lane here with under 10 to go.
Almost. Weishart almost found it at the same exact moment at the exit of turn 2.
Almost found the racing gods. That could have been bad, but Curran couldn't get enough of a run to really get fully alongside, but this time he does. Now you'll have help from Therian, and now the 33 might be going backwards here as Jacob Bell gets at least a little bit of a gap, but definitely still losing to those top 3.
They have broken away now, 1.2 seconds clear, 7 laps to go.
It almost looks like Beckner's tires are, I can't tell if they're giving out or he's playing games, but it doesn't seem like he can really get close enough to Matheson to have a look.
Oh, slide, turn 2. Danny Ware.
Save that one. They are 3 wide for about 19th as well. Sam Fontaine, even with that big hit he took, he's still battling for a top 20 as they get behind Nowicki, who is really slow.
Yeah, again, once you slide the tires, you've destroyed them. I mean, even driving them nicely destroys them. So imagine when you're slipping and sliding around or you spin out on them, you're just absolutely destroying the rubber. Flash heating them, making them very angry. And Nowicki's in the fence, I think.
Got to really look out for him as Beckner slides out of 2. He's losing ground to Jake Matheson right now, coming to 5 laps of racing to go. Just good racing all around the track. Just a matter of if we get to the white flag with it all going on. Senesac and Hearn are still side by side for 12th, even way further back. They're 7 seconds off the lead.
Not a lack of trying on Beckner's part.
The wheels trying to stay together, that's for sure. I don't know how you drive like that. It's so impressive.
We bring that up every time, and
I know, but it's just
got to be so distracting.
I would think, but it makes it work. It shows how much focus he actually has. It's so tough to do that when your wheel's not steady.
A guy like Travis can generally hold his line very, very well, and some people got $10,000 rigs that can't even go straight.
It's a wonder. Now we're at 4.5 laps to go. He's close to Jake, but I just don't think he's going to make this move. He can't get enough of a run to even get alongside currently.
No, I think if this isn't your teammate, I think you make the move, but he's your teammate. So if you're going to go into that corner, maybe 70-30 shot, you come out the other side in one piece, I don't think you make that move. But if it's 70-30 and it's not your teammate, absolutely I'm going for it.
See here, and I'm just going to shove him with 4 to go. And especially if it was another teammate in 3rd, I think he'd battle more here, but it's James Scioli. And they already don't see eye to eye. So, well, I think he's going to leave this to the very end just so he can't get past. But I said we got to spin, Nowicki's around, and that one's going to bring out the caution. And now we are in a green-white checkered scenario. We kind of saw that coming. Could not save it that time. He's still sliding. He might be on a controller, so it's even tougher. But it's a shame.
Again, he had lost it a couple of laps prior and didn't cause the yellow. But just a couple of laps running on burned up tires, and around it went.
And now it becomes a lottery. Because tires are...
I mean, we knew this was coming.
I mean,
that 25-lap green run was not something I was expecting after the first half of this race. So I'll take it. But now it is a roll of the dice.
Basically, because if you stay out, the yellow could easily come out in turn 1, and the race is over. That's exactly what happened last season. That's how Ricky Harden took the checkered flag. But if you don't get the yellow and now you get to the white flag, you're in trouble, because these tires, there was a 1.5 seconds of fall off, and even if majority stay out, I mean, it is such a big fall off that those drivers 10th on back still might consider pitting. Someone like Skyler who needs points, I don't think there's any way you pit. I don't even think the top 2 will, but I think we will see some risk takers, especially guys like Weishart, who it doesn't matter for him, he's locked in. Or someone like Case Lakatos, who's a little further down the running order.
Michael Curhan's going to peel off, and
Scioli's in.
Scioli will come down pit lane, and they're going to drag.
They dragged a lot more than I thought they would. Wow. I'm seeing 5 trucks stayed out. 6. Sam Fontaine as well. Maybe even another one. All right, Swan.
So here's my take on this. Is 6 trucks staying out is enough. And the reason why I say that is I don't think we get down the back straightaway before we get the yellow that will end this race.
It's going to be really tough to do so.
If we get it to turn 3 and we don't get a crash, then you're in trouble. Then you're in trouble.
Stayed out. But I feel like the probability is very low. And we're gonna see drivers on new tires go 3 and 4 wide, and we're gonna see the drivers, even though it's a restart, you're usually probably gonna be full throttle through 1 and 2 anyways. Even those drivers on old tires, you're probably going to see sliding. Even the drivers on new tires, they're gonna be cold. You're gonna see sliding. This is going to be very, very tough to get through 2 turns without a crash, let alone 4.
We'll see what can be done here. We're overtime in the Area Truck Series. Race fans, winter is here. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from our selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. And today, Area announced a partnership with Factor Meals. Boost your race day experience with 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. Use the sign-up link on the Area iRacing Twitter at Area iRacing to learn more. All right. My pick's still dead last. Let's see how things pan out here, though.
And Mason King got a lucky dog, but he's on the lead lap now. You never know.
Doing better than I am. 1 degree.
You never know.
And this is overtime. We are now working lap 90 of 92, of originally scheduled 90. So this is our one and only attempt at a green-white checker. If the caution comes out before the white, game over, race ends. If we get to the white, the next flag, which will be the checker, will end the race.
If that yellow was 2 laps earlier, I think those would have been a lot of different decisions, because then you get 2 restarts max instead of 1. So I think that changed a lot of people's opinions. We got 7 stayed out. I think Ryan Swan's up there. He's 7th. So 7 stayed out. Skyler's on 4 from 8th. Bryce Senesac, he might be on 2 tires, but Curhan was up there definitely on 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think had that been a few laps earlier, would have changed some things. But now you've made your bed, and it's time to lay in it. And Jake Matheson has arguably been probably the quickest truck tonight. But is it going to matter on this restart? Teammate Travis Beckner to the outside. Keep an eye on Jacob Bell. He's been aggressive on the restarts as well. And could he sneak in and steal one here?
It's going to be tough to do so. We know these 2 teammates are probably going to time it to the point where they can get a jump on everyone else, which will help even if it does go green. So see what happens in the turn 1. It's going to be the trouble spot initially.
Travis Beckner on the outside lane. Let's watch him go to work on this restart. 2 laps to go from Michigan.
No issues with much tire spinning. Skyler's going to look middle, which is a little surprising to me, but he does get the middle open. But Senesac almost got clear of him.
A little contact there between Senesac and Scioli into turn 2. We're 4 wide, we're 5 wide now. Back to 4, back to 3, skinning it back out as we head down the back straightaway.
Here we go. Well, we'll see what happens in turn 3, but
here comes Beckner. Here comes Beckner to the inside here.
He's got to do this in case they wreck. Then he could maybe get this win if they wreck. But look at the run James Scioli has. He's already side by side for 3rd, and we might make it.
We are going to make it, I think. White flag this time through. Beckner leads, but just here comes Scioli in the rear view. Watch Travis.
It's David Weishart.
To the inside. He's not going to leave him the space.
Oh, he's going to turn him. And here comes David Weishart for the lead. Matheson's destroyed. They're all crashing. David Weishart's going to take the lead with Michael Curhan behind.
Can Curhan steal this one? Checkered flag coming this time. Weishart weaving on the backstretch. Everybody's in the background trying to find room to race. Curhan arcs it in from the top side to the bottom. Checkered flag waving. It's so close for Curhan. Sideways out of turn 4. They're going to wreck coming to the stripe. Chapman.
There we go.
And Weishart wins at Michigan. Hellacious accident behind him as the field comes to the checkers. Huge
Danny
crashes.
Ware. Oh my, JT Poole, my gosh. That was, I gotta say, obviously it's kind of a biased opinion with what happened last night, but that was ugly in the turn number 1.
I mean, can you blame them? I mean, the 7 went down there below the white line. It's the 7's responsibility to blend back up fairly. I don't think that the 28 owed him any room. We will look at it. I don't think the 28 owed him any room down there, Connor, so we'll have to take a look.
No, you got a point. I mean, James went down there on his own.
Yeah, so watch the 7. He's going to go down here on his own accord. And at this point, he's made his bed, right? But now they're clear, though. That's the problem, is now he's given him the room. And now turns left.
7's on the yellow line.
Yeah.
I'm not sure much more he could do. Beckner gave him enough room to get back up. But then he just, I mean, you got a lot of room to the 52 as well.
Oh,
and unfortunately, his teammate gets the worst of that. I don't really like that, but obviously they've had issues. But that is, David Weishart's going to take that all day long. Wish we could get his view as he's doing burnouts. He got perfectly away from that.
I don't want the wreck, the inevitable post-race wreck to overwhelm the celebration that Weishart should deserve here, because he snuck his way through that and stole one away from those at the front. Here's a look at your race results. David Weishart up at the pointy end in this one, but hard-fought race all around. Toyota, Ford, Chevy, your top 5, Connor.
And a very mixed bag of top 5. How many times did we see Danny Ware sideways? He gets 5th out of that. Matthew Rodriguez was on the crash. He gets to 6th. JT Poole, even though he died after the line, he gets back to 8th. And Justin Sogak threw his troubles back to 9th. But then you have some guys who are going to be really upset about that late race yellow, like Travis Beckner, who's all the way relegated to 10th. And funny enough, it didn't change anything for Scioli. 3rd either way.
Yeah, that's, I understand, I mean, Beckner's frustration with the yellow for sure. That probably shouldn't have happened, but it did, and what happened after that is now history. But looking down the rest of the order, JT Poole 8th, ended up in the hospital after that. Anna Sogak, Beckner, you already mentioned. Looking down the rest of the field here, Shane Wolf. Did we mention Balliet 4th? What a good run for him.
I did not. Yeah, that was great.
Eric Wineland 19th, finish. Mason Kane down in 20th place. And looking down the rest of the field, Chapman in 22nd. Jake Matheson, 25th, ended up in the fence there. That did not work out the way that those trucks were hoping it would.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you got a feud going on like that, you get innocent bystanders involved in. Unfortunately, Travis Beckner's teammate, Jake Matheson, was one of those, and he's locked in, so not a big deal, but 25th after leading with 5 laps to go. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. And then you got the drivers who really didn't have a good night. Mitchell Sieg, Dalton Stafford, Peach and Justin Munsell, big crash early on, and obviously Brad Slaughter Jr. Relegated to making up nicknames. Not able to make the green flag tonight because of his issues.
Well, he didn't make it to the green, but James Scioli made it to the checkered 3rd place tonight. Wow, that was interesting. 3rd place, I'm sure you'll take it. Walk us through that race and then the last run to the checkers there.
Yeah, been struggling, had some bad luck lately, so just figured I'd start at the back, try and mix things up, just try and make some passes, get back in the groove, get to feeling confident again. It's just been a rough couple weeks, so just try and do that, make my way to the front, avoided a couple wrecks, and was bad fast. The Rick's Hot Sauce machine was flying all night, and then we got to behind Travis and Matheson there, and I saved my tires pretty good. I just don't think I was going to have anything to make a pass on him. I don't think Travis was going to try anything. It looked like he was just content to push him to the win. So looked like I was just going to sit in third, and then I knew that I wanted tires, was just hoping that we'd make it to the white flag, and that's exactly what we did. Hit the exact move I wanted. He didn't want to let me back up on track, and then we go into the corner, and it looks like he just tries to right hook me. I'm hugging the yellow, and he's turning down. So fortunately, nothing I can do about that, but just glad that David got the win and not any of them after that going on. So yeah, all in all, a fun night, a lot of passes, a lot of good racing with a lot of people through the field, some better than others, of course. So just want to give a huge shout out to you guys for capturing all these races. Big shout out to Sky Motorsports, finally got an interview for them. It's been a rough season for all of us there. And then big shout out to Flat Out Racing Network. And as always, Code Sky will get you $7 off at rickshotsauce.com.
James Scioli, 35th to 3rd. Good run, good points night for you, James. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
And Michael Curhan finishes in second, and you almost had a shot at stealing away one there at the very, very end, Michael. Coming into turns 3 and 4, maybe a big lunge could have gotten you there, but came up just one spot short, day late dollar short. But P2 is not so bad. Good points night for you, and a good way to wrap up an evening. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, P2 again, just like last night. Yeah, I was really surprised I didn't get as good of a run coming out of 4 on David. I mean, I didn't lift. I was going for it. And I don't know. I just didn't have quite the run that I was expecting. So I was never really able to make a move to the start-finish line on him. But, man, I just can't believe how much tires played a factor. I mean, it was 1 lap difference was a difference. So, yeah, I was just really hoping we were going to go those last 2 laps under green for this strategy to work, and it almost did, just like you said, day late, dollar short. But another strong run, some good momentum for next week.
Yeah, certainly some good momentum, and a great way to wrap things up. Michael, after starting 15th, running well all night, and staying out of the trouble spot for the most part. I see low as 25th, but you managed to get through it all and finish P2. So congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, pit strategy had me all over the field tonight. But real fast, would like to thank Fasicas Motorsports, NAI DeLeo Bram, Fame Construction, Flash Picks, everyone at Fasicas Motorsports for bringing these hot rods.
All right, Michael Curhan, second tonight, the number 24. We'll see you next week. And we're going to move on now to David Weishart, who steals a win in this one after a wild evening. It got messy out there, to say the least, but started 7th, ran as low as 23rd, and then he won right at the end. That was one way to finish it.
Yeah, it felt like I was playing a game of leapfrog all night. I started like 9th or whatever it was, 7th, got to the front, pitted, went to the back. Got, everybody in front of me pitted, I was back at the front. And it was, I was curious how it was all going to work out. And we came to that green white checkered, and I think we were going down the back. And I was like, look, guys, all of us that pitted, this has 0 shot at working if we can't get through turn 1. Like, that we pitted for nothing. And I was telling Michael down there, I felt bad because I said all that down the backstretch, gave him all the lecture, and I was the first one to jump 3 wide. So. But I knew I wasn't going to put anybody in a position to wreck there. And then whatever I saw going into 1, that was a joke. Them 2 got to get it settled out, and it's one-sided. But that's got to stop. That's ruining the league. It ruined other people's finishes. But other than that, I hate how that turned out at the end, but glad to come home with the win.
Yeah, it certainly was a good way to wrap one up, David. So congratulations on that. It gets you up on the wins leaderboard here and solidify a spot in the playoffs as well. So congratulations on that, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Connor, wrapping things up here from Michigan. Wow. It got exciting at times, but we managed to get a nice 20-25 lap run in there towards the end and finished off with an unexpected green-white checkered, but a decent race and decent result for Weishart, Curhan, and Scioli.
Yeah, James Scioli was definitely needed. I'm sure it will propel him into the top 20 in points even through all the drama, so I'm sure he'll at least be taking that because it looked like it was about to be a lot worse in the turn number 1. Definitely an ugly finish. Fingers are going to be pointed. Like David Weishart said, it's not really good for the league when one feud takes up everyone else's issues. So maybe that'll get sorted, because it seems like it's for those two, it's happening almost exclusively in the Truck Series. So it dates back not even just the past season at Vegas, but even they had contact at the Roval this season that was, I think, caused by the 7. So I mean, it's been tough, and obviously, like David said, it cost a lot of people good finishes. But besides that, when we got green flag running here, the racing was phenomenal. A lot of the cautions were just some self spins cut through the issues out of turn number 2, and not really through the 4 wide. The 4 wide for the most part worked when it happened. 3 wide as well. Had a lot of players who could have won this race. The 88 comes to mind. He couldn't get back up there in time, but a lot of fast running, and then we got a good run to the end. But it only takes one green-white checkered, one incident to really flip-flop the race, and that's exactly what happened tonight, and Weishart ended up being the beneficiary of it.
Well, we're 2 laps long in our 90-lap distance, but that is it for tonight here in the Area Truck Series. We're back at Richmond on Thursday with the Florida State Builders Pro Series, and then next week we're off to Homestead, Miami for 120 laps, 180 miles down in southeastern Florida. We'll see you there next week. Kyle Heyer, Connor Horn. We'll see you next time.